Get everyone, Beijing Day here. Today we're look at this Dell Precision 3640. We're going to look at its internals. We also will have a look at its fan noise as well as temperature, and we'll also check out its performance as well. So let's get on with it. So looking at the ports at the front, we've got the power button, then we have a DVD write drive, and then we have a headphone jack. We have three USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports, a USB-C port, which is USB 3.1 Gen 2 port, and it has power share, and then a full-size SD card reader as well. Looking at the back end, on the top right hand corner, we have the security lock slot, and on the left hand side, we have two full-size display port. Then we got two PS2 ports for the legacy keyboard and mouse, and then two USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports, and then four USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports, and then an RJ45 Ethernet port, and on the bottom we have an audio out jack. For the fan noise and temperature of the computer, when I did the measurements, my ambient temperature was 18 degrees Celsius. And if you're in a more warmer climate, I expect these numbers to go up a little bit. So first off, I did a base measurement when the computer was on idle. So that's the processor and the graphics card. And the average core temperature was reading at 42 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise was at 32 decibels. Then I put the computer on 20% load, so that's your average office productivity work, surfing the web or streaming videos, and the average core temperature was 48 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise was still at 32 decibels. Then I put the computer on 50% load, and the average core temperature was 61 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise was at 36 decibels. Then I'll put the computer at 100% load, and the average core temperature was at 82 degrees Celsius, and the fan noise had hit a maximum of 42 decibels. Now when the computer was at 100% load for the fan noise, it was mostly at about 40 decibels for about 5 seconds, and then it'll ramp up to 42 decibels for about 10 seconds, and then after that it will come back down to 40 decibels, and it will continue that cycle. Testing out the processor to see how it performs over an extended period of time. I've got a Xeon W1250P configured in this Precision 3640, and its base clock is at 4.1 gigahertz. And currently it is mostly sitting at 4.47 gigahertz, and I've got the load at close to about 90 to 100%. And I've got the GPU running it pretty hard, and also got the hard drive running pretty hard as well too. So they're mostly on load, and it's mostly sitting at 4.47 gigahertz stable there. So let's have a look at the airflow. Now I've got the computer currently running at 100%, and we're going to have a look at how the airflow, and I'm just going to use a tissue to show this. So let's strike the front part. That should be suction there. So that's just sucking the air through there. There's not much suction there that I can feel, but it is sucking a little bit. And looking on the side here, that should be suction. I can feel that is suction as well. That's definitely suction there. Yep. More on the top than the bottom, for sure. Yep, more from the top than the bottom. And for the top part, that's exhaust, and that's pretty much just blowing straight out there for sure. And looking on the back end to see, and that from the power supply, it is the exhaust. It's not blowing really hard, it's only a very little amount of, I can feel off more. So the main exhaust is actually coming from the top end here. Let's open up the computer. First off, we need to undo the screw on the back end up here. After that, pull the lever, which you can put your fingers underneath the grip and pull it towards the rear end of the computer. And you'll see the side will automatically pop itself out. Once the side cover is open, we can straight away see we've got 3 hard drive caddies for the 3.5-inch hard drives, which are for SATA, and they're pretty easy to remove the caddy. You don't need a screwdriver to actually take them out, and it's pretty much you can just pop a 3.5-inch hard drive in there, and they've got holes where it can automatically pin them in, so you don't need screws to screw them in. Now to access the RAM and the M.2 SSD hard drive, you just got to go to the back end of the computer and unlock these two locks here from the switch. Just push them up and that will then release the power supply area here. And it's just a matter of pushing this out. And then I'll just move it to our side here. Back here you can actually see. And pretty much you just flip this thing out like that. And then you should have very easy access to the internals of the computer here. So we've got 4 DIMM slots for the RAM, and it can take up to a maximum of 128 gigs of RAM. They can be non-ECC RAM and also the ECC RAM for the Xeons. And located here is the Wi-Fi card, which is optional. And then we have a slot for the PCIe 16 times, and then we have another slot of PCIe 4 times. Located on the bottom left is the M.2 PCIe SSD slot, and then located on the right hand side is the second M.2 PCIe slot. And on the right we've got 4 SATA headers. I did perform the benchmarks for this computer here. Now this one came configured with a W1250P with 32 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA Quadro P620. I'll put up the scores for Passmark, Citybench R15 and R20, 3D Mark, PC Mark 10, VR Mark, Geekbench, Spec View Pref, and Crystal Disk. Now if you find this video informative and enjoyed it, give it a like, and if you haven't done already, subscribe my channel by hitting that subscribe button bottom of the screen. I do try to upload a new video every week. And just remember, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. I'll see you next video.